This round we have on your right, we have Evan. He is playing, as I'm sure you can see, Merfolk. His opponent on the left is Joel, and he is playing Jund. Alright, so we're underway here. Evan had a turn 1 Aether Vial, which is what you want. First damage has come across, however, from the scavenging who's on Joel's side. 2 damage to Evan. Here is a Liliana of the Veil on turn 3. It's going to tick up. Joel will discard a Raging Ravine. Evan will discard a Spreading Seas. Aether Vial up to 2. I'm going to go ahead and put into play a Silvergill Adept with that Aether Vial. Draws himself a card. Thinking what he wants to do. He does have a 3rd land in hand. I can see he has at least a Manamo. He's going to go ahead and play another Spreading Sea. So he had 3 with this draw. It's a lot of Spreading Seas. He will go ahead and play out that Manamo, and he'll also play out a Curse Catcher on his on his main phase there, and then passes the turn back. So Joel right now with a Terminate, I believe a Ghost Cord, no, it's a Blooming Marsh, another Liliana, and a Tarmogoyf. At the moment, however, no green mana available, only 1 red or 1 black available thanks to those Spreading Seas. So Evan with a pretty strong draw here against a Jund deck. He just now needs to find a way to Precious Liliana. It's going to go ahead and tick down. It's going to get rid of that Curse Catcher. Evan will choose to sacrifice that, leaving himself with the ability to trade with that Scavenging Ooze if Joel decided to attack. He did not, of course. He just passes the turn back. Joel, or Evan rather, will leave his Vial on 2, and he'll just simply draw a card for his turn. I believe his draw was another copy of Curse Catcher. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to animate Mutavault, and we're going to swing both of these at Liliana. Joel will decide, okay, I'll block the Silvergill Adept. Liliana still dies, that's fine, but he gets rid of the Adept. I'm a little curious if it's better to trade off for the land there, but Evan's main phase 2 will bring him that 2nd Curse Catcher. He'll also play out a Mutavault for a 2nd land attacker. Joel draws for the turn and plays a Verdant Catacombs, which will now see him sacrifice. He has access to his colors again. Liliana is playable if you would like. He also can play that Tarmogoyf, which I think is probably the better of the 2 cards to play right now. He can technically play both if he wants, which is probably also a fine choice. Terminate doesn't seem to be doing the most work right now, so I could probably see getting rid of that card with Liliana tick up if he chose to go that way. Ticking down would remove the Curse Catcher, but that would open the door to having Liliana killed. Excuse me. He decides that he will just hold up Terminate. He'll play out his Goyf and say go. Evan again leaves his Aether Vial on 2. Draws for his turn. 2 is the magical number here for Merfolk. All its lords, except for the Retree, of course, do cost 2 mana. He will activate the Vial, which will put into play another Silvergill Adept. His draw off the Adept trigger was a Lord of Atlantis. Definitely a couple islands in play there for Joel, so these will be unblockable Merfolk right now. There is that Lord of Atlantis. Vest, I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead and we're going to terminate the Lord of Atlantis. Evan has main deck Spell Pierce though, so that's going to get the terminate. 2 damage is dealt to Joel, so Joel down to 15 thanks to the Curse Catcher coming in there. Joel deciding what he wants to go ahead and do here. A land and a Liliana in hand right now. Liliana is not going to be at her strongest again, thanks to that Lord of Atlantis, however. He's going to put it into play and immediately tick her down to 1, so Evan will decide what to sacrifice here. Seems like a pretty easy curse catcher to sacrifice. He'll also play out his land. I wonder if it's right to get in with Tarmogoyf. If we have enchantment, planeswalker, creature, instant, land. So we have a 5/6 Goyf. I think I would have attacked there if I was Joel. We're going to fire up 2 of our Mutavaults. We're just going to get this game over with if we're Evan. We're going to send 3 damage at Liliana and 6 at Joel. So Joel will take all of that. Liliana dies. Joel falls to 6. Again, these spreading seas slowed him down, which looks like just enough. And we're going to see him scoop it up here in game 1, giving the win over to Evan here. Just couldn't do anything there. So heading into our sideboard matchups, let's see what we have here. So Joel gets access to 1 Chandra Torch of Defiance, 2 Kitchen Finks, 3 Fulminator Mages, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Ancient Grudge, 1 Damnation, 1 Shatterstorm, and 2 copies of Collective Brutality. So on Joel's side, I like having the Kitchen Finks could be okay just for some life gain there. Chandra doesn't really excite me. Fulminator Mage, maybe, but probably not necessary. It just deals with the caverns nicely. Or not caverns, Mutavault, I should say. Grafdigger's Cage is no use to me. Nihil Spellbomb, no. Ancient Grudge, no. Ancient Grudge maybe get rid of Vials, but I don't think you really want that. Damnation's very good. Shatterstorm, no. Brutality, probably okay. It deals with Lords if there's only one of them. On Evan's side, we get access to 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Remand, 2 Tidebinder Mage, 1 Hibernation, 1 Surgical Extraction, the full 4 of Hurkyl's Recall, a Spell Pierce, and a Negate. So out of Evan's sideboard, what do we have here? Grafdigger's Cage, no. Relic, maybe it keeps a Goyf in check, but not really crucial. Remands, no, not really. Tidebinder Mage I could see being useful against Goyfs. Hibernation could be okay. It gets to bounce all his green creatures. Surgical, doesn't really excite me. Hurkyl's Recall is no use here. Spell Pierce, maybe, probably okay. Negate, also probably okay. So a few choices there for Evan and a few for Joel as well. The real test here will be to see if Evan is able to manage getting those spreading seas again. That was really important there. So Mutant Knee, thank you very much for that follow. We will send you a 10% off discount code at top8gaming.com. Thank you and welcome to the channel. All right, we're drawing here for our opening 7. I believe Joel has taken a mulligan here. Pretty quickly decided that his 7 was not going to cut it. We're going to try again on 6 instead. All right, so yes, Joel down to 6 here. We'll start things off here with a Black Cleave Cliffs and a Inquisition of Kozilek. So this looks to be a better start for the Jund player. We look at Master of Waves, Silvergill Adept, an Island, Spreading Seas, Mutavault, and a pair of Curse Catchers. So our choices here are the Spreading Seas, the Adept, or the Curse Catchers. I probably like taking away the Spreading Seas here. It caused quite a bit of a headache for Joel last game. So I don't mind just getting rid of it now. The Curse Catchers don't really excite me to take away here. especially when I already have access to a Grim Lavamancer in my hand there. He did go ahead and take away the Spreading Seas. The draw for Evan was the Lord of Atlantis, so a pretty good draw there. Curse Catcher does come down on turn 1. Joel's draw was a copy of Wooded Foothills. There, I believe, I could be wrong. Yeah, I thought there was an anger, but it's not an anger. It must be the Lavamancer. So we're going to go ahead and sacrifice this Wooded Foothills. Down to 19 goes Joel. Out comes an Overgrown Tomb, so we're at 17. Another Inquisition of Kozilek here. So we look at, again, Silvergill Adept. The new addition was, of course, that Lord of Atlantis. Looks like he decides he'll take away the Silvergill Adept this time. He doesn't want to give the card draw. Seems like a fair choice. The Lord of Atlantis, I'm sure, was a piece of some thought there. However, with no islands and no way to currently make islands, I think he's fine to not bother with that. Here comes the Lord of Atlantis, and the Curse Catcher attacks for 2. This is a much better game here for Joel. The Lavamancer is set to control this board nicely. Kolaghan's Command, also very, very good here. We could see him across 2 turns, wipe out this board. He's going to start by shooting down the Lord of Atlantis, which I think is totally fine. I'm a little curious if he could have waited on that. I don't really see a need to do it right now. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to block anyways. This Lavamancer is way too valuable. So Curse Catcher and Curse Catcher. So we're not going to be resolving anything easily here for Joel. But this isn't a very big clock either for Evan. So wow, and the draw was a Maelstrom Pulse. Wow. It's not obviously the greatest against Curse Catchers, just because you sacrifice the one that your opponent's targeting, and it just fizzles the spell regardless. But yeah, geez. Evan here plays a Silvergill Adept, reveals that Master of Waves. He'll draw for the trigger. What do we find? I believe he found a Harbinger of the Tides. In we come for 3. One of those is going to die. He doesn't turn on the Mutavault because he doesn't have the mana to actually attack with it this turn. I wonder if he's debating blocking and then shooting another one. I don't think you really want to shoot another one, to be honest. Or you don't want to block one, I should say. So he decided to do 2 damage to Curse Catcher and make Evan discard a card there. Evan discards the Harbinger of the Tides. I would have liked to have seen him sacrifice that Curse Catcher to make Joel actually pay for his ability, but he didn't use the Lavamancer, it looked like, either. So Joel plays a land and just says go. Not too sure what the card in his hand is here. Oh, yes, it's a Maelstrom Pulse. So here is the 4th mana for that Master of Waves. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue pips. So we're going to get ourselves 4 1/0 elemental tokens. There's the Master there. Played a lot in its standard days in the mono blue deck. We're going to go ahead and shoot the Silvergill Adept in this case. Master of Waves, really good here just because of the fact that it is pro-red. It's not going to be pro-black or green, however, so Maelstrom Pulse is going to do some work. We're going to target the Master of Waves, and we do have 2 mana to pay for Curse Catchers if need be. No real point, of course, to Evan sacrificing those Curse Catchers. Tarmogoyf is the follow-up, so a strong turn there for Joel. Puts himself way out ahead. Both players in top deck mode. And Evan with just a pair of 1/1s and a Mutavault at best. Master of the Pearl Trident's okay, but it's not really going to matter against this board state. Tarmogoyf is big enough to deal with these. We have Sorcery, Creature. Do we just have Sorcery and Creature right now? Joel's exiled a lot of his own graveyard here, so I don't know what all has gone to the graveyard. Or no, it's also enchantment because of Spreading Sea, so it's a 3/4 Goyf. So Mutavault is no good here in attacking. We're just going to go ahead and play out that Bloodstained Mire. In we come for 3. I think we're fine to attack here, right? All right, we're gonna say no. He does have the ability to kill that Master of the Pearl Trident, of course, with the... Oh, no, he does. I lied. He doesn't. That's why the attack was no good. I guess he did. He just had to sacrifice Bloodstained Mire, so he would have got there eventually. We're going to sacrifice Bloodstained Mire in a turn. This is going to turn on Grim Lavamancer again. So we're going to be able to shoot down this Master of Waves, I imagine. Or Master of the Pearl Trident, rather, I should say. Okay, he'll untap and draw. His draw was a Damnation. He's not really in the spot where he wants to use that just yet. Maybe it is, but I don't think it's really that important. So that's an attack for 4, I believe, coming across there. Land, creature, sorcery, enchantment. So a 4/5 Goyf. We're going to turn on our Mutavault now. We're going to come in for 7. We can obviously just make that 4 instead by removing this Master Pearl Trident. So only 4 damage instead. Joel will fall to 7. He also, in turn, shrinks his Tarmogoyf by 2, however. Evan's going to fire off a Dismember here, putting himself to 12, paying 4 life to kill that Tarmogoyf. And I think we're now in a spot where Damnation could be an option. He needs to be careful, though, because there is that Mutavault. So he probably wants to wait until he can kill a Mutavault and then fire off Damnation, so there's no attackers on Evan's side. Dark Confidant was the draw this turn. So Joel has a decision to make here. Does he have 3 black? He does. So, yeah, this attack to me signifies he isn't a Damnation here. And sure enough, that is what happens. The follow-up is going to be that Dark Confidant. So a good turn there. It leaves him with the ability to still kill off Mutavault. And we're going to see if he wants to. And he decides not to. So down to 5 he goes. He's in a dangerous spot. Dark Confidant reveal and Abrupt Decay. Down to 3. We draw for the turn. Another land. So wrong order there to draw those cards in, unfortunately. But just an island in hand for Evan. But his opponent's now at 3, so you have to wonder if it's even worth attacking with Mutavault, and he decides not to. He's just going to pay the full cost here for a Silvergill Adept. Draws a Tidebinder Mage. Dark Confidant is in an interesting spot now. Swamp gets revealed to Dark Confidant, though, and the draw was a Tarmogoyf, so a very good sequence there. With the Damnation, it's a good question, Gumbox. I don't know. He also had the ability to make him pay 1 earlier as well to turn off Grim Lavamancer. He didn't do that, so I'm a little unsure as to why that's the case. But Tidebinder Mage will lock down this Tarmogoyf. We're going to Abrupt Decay the Tidebinder Mage, however, which will then unlock Tarmogoyf. We're going to take 2 more from a Terminate, though, so Joel is down to 1. His draw, I believe, was a Kolaghan's Command. He's in a tight spot now, though. We have Instant creature, enchantment. There's still sorcery. I can't remember. It's at least a 3/4 Goyf, potentially bigger. I'm not too sure. Terminate and Kolaghan's Command in hand, however, so we're not in a bad spot. You see Evan just draw and say go. He's going to try and let Joel die to his own Dark Confidant. However, Joel does have an answer to his own Dark Confidant. He will Kolaghan's Command at end of turn to deal 2 damage to Dark Confidant and return Grim Lavamancer to his hand. no more risk of dying. Liliana is a pretty good draw, it looks like. We're going to start by playing Liliana out here. Do we tick down? Yes, we do. Silvergill Adept is dealt with. Here comes Grim Lavamancer. I think, yeah, we're going to hold back at least one more turn. There is a Terminate available to deal with one of these Mutavaults, but he doesn't want to attack just yet and risk dying on the Crackback. Man, I wish he was playing a Vapor Snag. That'd be great. We're just going to pass the turn back here. Jund back in the controlling spot. He has to be careful. He is, of course, at 1, so ticks up Liliana. Aether Vial and Bloodstained Mire are the discards. Tarmogoyf, I believe, is now able to attack. They're counting up his power right now. Looks to be a 6/7 Tarmogoyf. Artifact, land, instant, sorcery, creature, and enchantment. So that's a 6/7 Goyf. Evan down to 5. A second Goyf will join the team as well here. So Evan now in a lot of trouble. Looks like end of turn we're going to have a Harbinger of the Tides bounce that Tarmogoyf. Okay. In comes everything. So we're going to set up some blocks here. We're going to... Okay. I think I would have liked to have seen him... it doesn't really matter, but... I would have liked to have seen him probably fire off the Lavamancer activation first to make sure something funny happens. And kill the unblocked Mutavault. And then afterwards terminate the one attacking him. But regardless, Joel gets the win here in game 2. So we're going to have a game 3. I don't believe anything changes up here in game 3. Yeah, I think you went with the riskiest one for sure. He had a lot of choices there. How to set it. I don't think he was in any trouble regardless of what line he chose. I think he just chose potentially the riskiest line, like you said there, Vest. I don't see why you don't just, kill it off right away, right? It just seems a little strange, but regardless, we got there. So again, heading into our game 3 here, not much looks to be changing. We did see that Evan did, in fact, bring in his Tidebinder Mage. I think it's a great choice here. Not much else, though, that we saw from that game. Mizium Skin GG. I like it. I like it. All right, so players drawing their opening 7 here. I saw quite a few removal spells in Joel's opening hand there, so always a good way to start. Evan looking at his 7, deciding if it's going to be good enough to keep. I don't believe I see an Aether Vial in his hand, which is a little bit rough, but that's the optimal turn 1 play. Instead, he's going to just start it off with Island Go. Joel has to be ecstatic about that. Nothing aggressive coming down just yet. His play is Raging Ravine Go. We have a Mutavault, a Silvergill Adept that will reveal a Marrow Regery. And then we draw a card and say go. Dark Confidant is the turn 2 play here for our Jund player. Joel now set to accumulate advantage here with that Dark Confidant. No islands just yet for Joel to worry about and under his own control. Here is that Marrow Regery, though. It's going to attack Joel for 3. So down to 17. He knew that was probably coming. He saw it reveal last turn. And then once the land came down, it was pretty clear what was going to happen. There is another Lord still in Evan's hand that I saw. He has at least a Lord of Atlantis. We're going to go ahead and play Raging Ravine and then terminate the Marrow Regery. I didn't see the Dark Confidant reveal, but it does get in for 2 and bring Evan down to 18, so... 2 mana. It's going to bring probably down the Lord of Atlantis is my guess. Nope. Master of the Pearl Trident. So a lot of Lords in hand for him this game. We're going to fire up Mutavault as well. Yeah, we sure are. Looks like we're going to get in for the most damage possible. So 6 damage coming across here. If I'm not mistaken, Evan, or Joel rather, down to 11. Dark Confidant reveals a Fatal Push. So down to 10 we go. His draw was an Inquisition of Kozilek. Only 1 black source right now. A 3rd Raging Ravine. So... a lot of tap lands here for the Judge player. Fatal Push will deal with the Master of the Pearl Trident. 2 more damage coming across from that Dark Confidant. But again, Scavenging Ooze is good follow-up there. I was going to say, he needs to be careful, but Scavenging Ooze is a creature that he can get in front with, so not the worst anymore, but... a second Mutavault comes down for Evan. We'll turn on our first Mutavault. Then we'll play our Lord of Atlantis. So we have a pair of 3 power attackers. Scavenging Ooze is able to trade off still with that Silver Yellow Adept if he chooses. Looks like he opted not to. He'll take 6 and fall to 4. Dark Confidant trigger is on the stack here. What are we going to do? We're going to eat a creature in response with Scavenging Ooze. So down to 5, back down, sorry, up to 5, back down to 4. Good order to draw those, and he drew a Maelstrom Pulse afterwards for his regular draw. Other way around would have been a little more trouble, I feel. Thinking what he wants to do here. Has a Lightning Bolt in hand. So he can deal with the Lord again. He will. No point in sacrificing Curse Catcher there. Doesn't stop the spell from resolving. So, and then we're just going to pass the turn back. So 1 more creature in the graveyard to be eaten by the Scavenging Ooze. Actually 2 more still. But only 1 green source available at the moment. Here is a Spreading Seas. Looks like he's targeting the swamp. I'm a little curious about that. I would have liked to... I guess it's only a black source, to be fair, so... And he knows about Fatal Push, so I guess that's a fair choice, yeah. So, no more black mana currently for Joel. A bunch of green mana, though, so Scavenging Ooze can gain some life. We saw him last turn do it in response to his Dark Confidant trigger, just to pad himself a little bit more so he wouldn't die by mistake. He is playing in his main deck. There's at least 1 4-drop I see, and that is Olivia Valdarin. We're going to go ahead and eat 1 creature, so we'll go up to 5. Dark Confidant again reveals Fatal Push, back down to 4. Inquisition was the draw. I don't think he has a way to get black mana, though. No, he does not. Okay. So a good choice by Evan to go after that black mana source. Joel just doesn't have anything to do, but he can't cast any of the spells in his hand now. Scavenging Ooze, of course, is still useful, but that only does so much for you. In we come. We're going to eat the last 2 creatures, so we go to 6. We're also coming in for 6, so Evan will fall to 10. End of turn, Harbinger of Tides to bounce your Scavenging Ooze. Pretty good one there. That's going to be game. Yeah. Yeah, another Lord will end the game because Joel just can't cast anything.